Welcome to another episode of Eyepiece. I didn't really have anything else planned for the intro.
You're meant to introduce us, remember?
Oh, my name is Hayden, and
Hi,
this other guy.
Nice to meet you.
What's your name?
My name is Martin.
Hello, Martin.
I'm eating toast this
Good
evening.
for you.
Thanks.
With Marmite.
With Marmite.
How's your week been?
It has been livable.
Livable? I was hoping for something better than that, but I'm glad that you are living.
Thanks, man. Me too. How about you?
I think it's been okay.
Okay.
It's been kind of like a wake-up call, I guess, like spiritually.
Oh.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know, I feel like I have been kind of, like, plateauing spiritually in a way, and this week it was kind of like just a reminder that I need to not get too, not, like, lose motivation, I guess.
Yeah.
So, just various things came up that kind of reminded me that I need to, like, keep pursuing God and not, like, get too comfortable, I guess.
Yeah.
So there were a couple of moments this week that were very, like, humbling at work in particular, and I told you about.
Oh, yes.
I told you about one of them at least.
You did.
So the first one was, I mean, this happens all the time at work. I work with college students, and they aren't the most responsible people.
They're morons.
They are. So, and they just make the worst messes and everything, and I'm the one that has to clean them up. But it just seems like they try to be as messy as possible. Like, they will toss their trash in front of the dumpster, like, not even try to get it inside. Like, they'll just dump it right there, and they'll, like, throw stuff, and they'll leave, like, bags, like fast food bags, lying under their cars. And it's weird because, like, multiple people do that. Like, I would understand if it was just, like, one guy had this weird quirk where he leaves his, fast food bag under his car for some reason, but several people do it, and they do it, like, every day. Like, is this just, like, a college trend thing that is happening these days? You go to McDonald's, eat your food, and then throw the bag under your car? It makes no sense. But I always have to fish them out and throw them away and everything.
I think some people think they're being, like, cool by not caring. They're like, oh yeah, look at me, I'm making somebody else's life harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the Hollywood stars who'd, like, trash hotel rooms and stuff.
Yeah.
Because they can. Yeah, it's quite dumb. But on Friday, one thing that really got on my nerves was that somebody had taken a pumpkin and just threw it against the wall and, like, spread pumpkin guts all over and threw seeds all over the place.
Yeah.
And so, like, the sidewalk was just covered in pumpkin guts and seeds, and there's just, like, bits of broken pumpkin everywhere, and it's like, ugh, I didn't even want to clean it up. So at first I just, like, kind of passed right over it. I was just like, I'm not even gonna bother with that right now. And there were just various other things that made me upset. Like, I think just people just, they don't take responsibility and they don't do anything themselves. So whatever I had to do that day, Friday, it was just getting on my nerves, and I was really angry and, like, just, well, I admit, I was, like, kind of fantasizing about just, like, taking people's trash bags, people's bags of trash, carrying them into their rooms and just dumping them on the floor. I was like, if I knew who did this, I would totally, because I have the keys. I have keys to everyone's rooms, so I could do it if I knew who was doing it, but
I
but I
think people
don't.
like that. I think people like that, their rooms already look like you've dumped trash everywhere.
That's very true. I have been into a few rooms that definitely look like that. Somebody threw away a mini fridge once, and well, they didn't throw it away. They dumped it in front of the dumpster, so I had to throw it away. But I opened it up just in case there was anything in there, and there was. There was like a some kind of Tupperware that was filled with some kind of gunk and like covered in gunk or whatever. And the whole rest of the mini fridge was just, it looked like a terrarium.
Wow.
It was just filled with like this layer of like some kind of stuff growing, some kind of mold or something, and it looked like there might have been insects living in there,
Uh,
and there was like a half a bottle of Coke that somehow had survived.
that
It
is
was
so
weird.
disgusting, and I'm not just talking about like the physical disgust of that situation, but that people act that way.
Yeah,
A bunch of children.
yeah. The fact that they just let it go and just don't even bother, to the point where like instead of cleaning it, their solution was to literally throw the fridge away.
Hayden,
Which, to be honest, when it gets to that point, that probably is your best bet.
uh,
But you didn't have it didn't have to get to that point.
right.
You
I,
could have like taken a little bit more care and not had to throw it away.
I had the same situation actually this past year when I moved out. My roommates left with me with all the furniture they didn't want, which meant that I obviously couldn't handle all the furniture. So we just had to throw out like whole furniture.
Jeez,
Yeah, it sucked. But
that's really annoying.
I
It's
think
great for.
I think Hayden, what we should do is you should make copies of those keys.
Uh
And once you quit that job, we stake out the people who are doing that.
huh.
We grab the trash, go into their rooms, and then murder them.
Yeah, that seems a bit extreme.
I don't think it's extreme enough.
Oh, I think we should take a bag of trash, plant a bomb inside, and blow up the whole place.
Oh my gosh. So violent. Just leave a note for not cleaning up after yourselves.
Oh man, we're not gonna do that. If anyone's listening to this, this is all a joke. We're not gonna do any of that. But I didn't get to the point of this story.
Oh,
So
my bad.
on Friday, basically after fantasizing about blowing up the joint and like praying imprecatory psalms on these people, my supervisor, no, my supervisor basically, um, called me and told me that the manager wanted to he said that she had something for me. And so I, said okay, fine, and we hung up, and I assumed that she was probably just going to say, people are complaining about the pumpkin guts. You probably should go clean that up. And I was like, yeah, fine, I guess I'll do it. So I went in there and talked to her, and she gave me this envelope, and was like, corporate gave us bonuses. And I was like, oh wow, that's cool. And so I took the envelope and went to the workshop, and I opened it, and it was $300. And that was like, I was just incredibly humbled right there, because I was like, I did not expect that much. That's like an entire week. That's like an entire week's paycheck for me that I just get as a bonus. And so I was like humbled, and I was like, man, I spent the whole day just like complaining, and I mean, not out loud, but complaining to God, and just like being really bitter and angry, and then I just get this incredible blessing that I don't deserve. And so I was like, yeah, well, I went straight away and I cleaned up those pumpkin guts. So I was like, I got to do something.
Yeah, you're like, I should probably do that.
Yeah. So, so that was the first. You'd think I would have learned after that, but in fact I didn't. So on Monday, once again, I was getting annoyed by people just. That was the day that I sent you those pictures of literally like 5 bags of trash just sitting outside the dumpster. Like, I, and they weren't even like, they were different trash bags, so they were obviously from different people. So it's like one person did it, and then the next person goes up and is like, "Oh, we're dumping trash outside the dumpster, okay," and just threw theirs. Like, see, I'm getting angry again. But there were like 5 trash bags. Plus, there's this one person who, for some reason, decides they have these enormous trash bags, and for some reason they decide that they're just going to put all of their trash in this one gigantic trash bag and just wait until it's like bursting, and then they'll just throw it like wherever. And so usually it ends up bursting open, and there's like it like whole pies and just like boxes of food, like literally like food that hasn't even been touched. It's like this person must like stock up for the week and then eat nothing and then just take the entire week's worth of food and dump it. And and they don't even dump it in the dumpster, so there's always just food lying all over the place.
Yeah.
I have to pick it up and do something with it. But yeah, so I was really upset about that and just really frustrated. And then I decided to we have these like dog stations where they're like bins that they have like rolls of bags, and you take one of the bags and you pick up the dog's poop and you throw it in the bin, which probably like 20% of the people there actually do. But they were getting kind of full, so I was going around and emptying them and stuff. And there's one in particular that's right outside of one of the buildings, and I've actually seen these guys from their balcony just like chuck full cans of beer at this bin trying to make it in.
Oh my gosh.
And I think they've only made it in like twice, and most of the cans of beer they throw just go flying off into the distance, and I have to go around and pick them up. But I watched them do this, and I know exactly which room it is, in which building it is, and I've kind of fantasized about grabbing one of those cans and just throwing it up on the balcony at them. But I'm not going to do that. But I was emptying that bin, and I found a couple of their beer cans, and it reminded me of that. And so I like kind of got really angry, and I was just like really cynical and like, ugh, these people are so dumb. And I looked up and I saw this group of guys standing outside the building talking to each other, and I was like, man, I wonder if those are the guys that I saw doing it. And so I just kind of glared at them as they were talking, and then one of them like kind of waved at them and turned around and started walking towards me, but there was like a tree in between him and me, and he kind of like bumped into the tree and like caught himself, but he like had to like step around the tree and everything. And so I kind of like smirked at him and like shook my head or whatever, because I was like, huh, stupid, like irresponsible guy runs into a tree, that's what you get. But then he walks up to me and starts talking, and so I take one of my headphones out and like ask him to repeat himself, and he asked me if I'd seen a little boy walking around, and he started like describing this boy to me, and he was like, he's wearing a Batman hoodie or whatever, and he was autistic. And I was like, no, I haven't seen him anywhere. And he was like, okay, can you, like, if you see him, he's from Linden Grove or whatever the name of, some elementary daycare or something. I don't know. It was some place nearby that he had apparently escaped from. And so this was a worker from that daycare or school or whatever who was looking for him and like scoping the surrounding properties to try and find him. And so he told me if I see this little boy, then I should call Linden Grove. And so he like kind of walked off and like kept searching, and he was really frantic. Like he was kind of, I mean, he was professional and everything, but you could tell. I mean, you lose a child, obviously you're going to be a bit flustered and frantic, and so he was like just kind of panicking and walked away. And I didn't really think much of it until like a little while later, and then I was like, this guy was just, doing his job and like worried about this poor kid and just happened to bump into a tree. And I basically laughed at him.
Bastard.
And I'm sure he probably saw me smirk at him. And I just like, I felt so horrible. I was like, man, like, I don't know. It was definitely a moment of providential discipline. God just showing me like, yeah, you need to check your heart. So that was kind of my week. Well, not necessarily. That was two moments from my week, but overall, the week in general, I've just been realizing that like, especially with writing the story and everything, like I've just been kind of focusing more on like escapism, I guess, just kind of like fantasizing and getting lost in thought and like not paying attention to reality. And so this week has been kind of like a wake up call, like I should probably get my head out of the clouds and like try to focus on real life a little bit more. That pretty much describes my week.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Okay, so while you were sharing that, it reminded me of like reading Ask Reddit threads where people just talk about things that make them angry and getting angry.
Okay.
So I've just found one.
Oh.
Posted a month ago, and the question was, "What's the rudest thing a guest has ever done in your home?"
Huh.
Okay, are you ready for some of these?
Yeah.
A friend of my dad lost his house, and we had a former B&B, so we invited them to stay with us. We housed and fed them for weeks while they found another place. For that, we got roaches, criticisms of our food, but that wasn't the worst for me then in my late teens. The day they left, I went to play my favorite game on PlayStation. Couldn't find it. Overturned everything, but I couldn't find it. In searching, I noticed something even worse. My Super NES, all my games, half my N64 games were missing, in addition to the PlayStation game. They'd stayed with us as a favor and stolen half of my things that I had paid for with my birthday money saved up over years.
Oh no.
Isn't that awful?
Oh my gosh. It's terrible.
Here's another one. I'll just share like two more.
Okay.
I don't want to like get us all infuriated about things. A guy came in, and when no one was looking, took a single bite out of every single apple in the counter basket.
Jeez.
Like at a store.
There's no reason for that. It's stupid.
Obnoxious.
Well, any highlights from your week? I hope your week wasn't as infuriating.
No, I just I've been spending my time poorly and playing a lot of video games, and then being like, man, I shouldn't have played video games. Last week, Tuesday actually, I did a 1-day fast and tried it out.
Okay.
And I was really bored, and I just had no idea how to fill my time because I also fasted from video games on that day too.
Okay.
So I'm like, let's also give up this thing that I don't really need, and it's just a distraction. And I just sat there.
Well, did it kind of open your eyes to like how dependent you are on food and or video games?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I think I already knew that I was dependent on food because if If I go without it for a certain period of time, I'll literally die. But
Well, I don't mean.
I don't know about
I
you.
mean dependent as in like, because I don't know about you, but when I fast, like if I'm hungry, I literally like I can't think about anything other than when I can eat next.
Oh, I see.
And like it, you don't realize it because like you take food for granted, but then like when you can't have it, you realize like I don't know, like how much you think about it and
Yeah.
how it's like how much your day revolves around it. Like I would literally like even now I realize like my the highlight of my day is my lunch break because I get to eat food and sit. And like
Ugh.
and then after that I'm waiting for to get out of work so I can have dinner. And then after that I'm like, man, I get to have like a snack tonight. And it's like my whole day revolves around food and like when I'm gonna have my next bite.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely showed me I'm pretty dependent. I felt pretty guilty because I was like, I don't know. I kind of did it, sort of, because I felt like I should, more so than like being like, oh, I'm gonna do this for God, you know. Anyway, what do you got on the list for us today, Hayden?
Well, we can move into devotions.
Okay.
This is kind of half devotion and half topic because this has been a particularly hot topic this week.
Oh,
But did you hear about? You might have seen my Facebook post, but did you hear about the Chinese pastor who got arrested along with most of his congregation?
yes, I did. They mentioned it in this issue of The Economist.
Okay. Yeah, Pastor Wang Yi. And he wrote this. It's not, I mean, I guess it's a blog post, but I don't know if he posted it as a blog post. But he wrote this thing that's basically, he calls it a declaration of faithful disobedience.
Hmm.
And so it's basically he's basically saying that he's being arrested because he's disobeying the law. But he's disobeying the law because he's being faithful to God. It's a really long article, and I can post it along with the podcast if anyone wants to read it. You really should read it. It's long, but it's an excellent read. But I cut and pasted some quotes from it, and I'm just going to read the quotes. So these are just pieces of the thing. So am I speaking really loud or something? Because I can hear my voice coming from your end.
Oh, are you sure you're not just hearing it in your head?
I don't know.
Yep.
I'll try not to talk as loud.
Deal with it.
So here are the excerpts that I selected. So the goal of disobedience is not to change the world, but to testify about another world. For the mission of the church is only to be the church and not to become a part of any secular institution. From a negative perspective, the church must separate itself from the world and keep itself from being institutionalized by the world.
Hmm.
From a positive perspective, all acts of the church are attempts to prove to the world the real existence of another world. The Bible teaches us that in all matters relating to the gospel and human conscience, we must obey God and not men. For this reason, spiritual disobedience and bodily suffering are both ways we testify to another eternal world and to another glorious king. This is why I am not interested in changing any political or legal institutions in China. I'm not even interested in the question of when the communist regime's policies persecuting the church will change. Regardless of which regime I live under now or in the future, as long as the secular government continues to persecute the church, violating human consciences that belong to God alone, I will continue my faithful disobedience. For the entire commission God has given me is to let more Chinese people know through my actions that the hope of humanity and society is only in the redemption of Christ, in the supernatural, gracious sovereignty of God. If God decides to use the persecution of this communist regime against the church to help more Chinese people to despair of their futures, to lead them through a wilderness of spiritual disillusionment, and through this to make them know Jesus, if through this he continues disciplining and building up his church, then I am joyfully willing to submit to God's plans, for his plans are always benevolent and good. Regardless of what crime the government charges me with, whatever filth they fling at me, as long as this charge is related to my faith, my writings, my comments, and my teachings, it is merely a lie and temptation of demons. I categorically deny it. I will serve my sentence, but I will not serve the law. I will be executed, but I will not plead guilty. Separate me from my wife and children, ruin my reputation, destroy my life and my family. The authorities are capable of doing all these things. However, no one in this world can force me to renounce my faith. No one can make me change my life, and no one can raise me from the dead. So that was part of his speech or whatever.
Well, what did he get charged with?
I don't know. Isn't it just plain illegal to be a Christian in China?
No. But they regulate it.
Okay. I don't know
what's his name again?
Wang Yi. It's spelled Wangyi.
Let's see what's happening. I got a different Wang Yi.
Okay.
Yeah,
pastor in China.
Found the right one. Apparently, there was Wang Yi, who is the foreign minister of China.
Okay.
That's like an unfortunate coincidence. All right, here he is.
Well, here's when I was coming up with names for my story, I would go on behindthename.com and just select various nationalities and pick names from a list. And I wanted some Chinese sounding names, but honestly, there are very few names to choose from. So it's not surprising that people might have the same name.
Well, the allegation for which he was charged was inciting subversion of state power. So I think that letter might have something to do with it. Or write that letter after getting arrested.
I don't know.
Yeah, so basically, China, Christians in China, they are allowed to exist, but what they can teach is regulated by the state. So I think in classes which teach Christianity, not necessarily churches, they're not allowed to teach about the resurrection.
Really?
Which is pretty important.
Yeah.
You and I know. So yeah, I think the way the Chinese government sees it is being able to practice a religion is a privilege granted to the people by the state. So, because Karl Marx, in the Communist Manifesto, he wrote that. What did he write? He wrote something like, "Religion is the opioid of the masses."
Opioid of the masses.
Yeah, that's why communists really don't like religion.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Well,
I mean, you would know all about communism because you had that booklet that taught you everything about it.
Right here, actually.
Aha!
Next to my bookcase, and it's right there.
Nice.
So.
Came prepared for this.
I know. But oddly enough, I think Gorbachev, the last guy who was the leader of the Soviet Union, is a Christian.
Really?
Yeah, he's a really nice guy, actually.
Huh.
He's kind of cute. He's an old dude.
Okay. See, when you said he was kind of cute, I paused for a moment. I was like, hang on, where are you going? But then when you said he was an old dude, it all made sense.
No. Yeah, he is a Christian. He doesn't like say that he's a Christian, but
Okay.
he went to visit the tomb of Saint Francis to pray.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that necessarily makes him a Christian.
He said, Saint Francis is, to me, another Christ. His story fascinates me and has played a fundamental role in my life. Yeah, that could go either way.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
On his 80th birthday, he had an interview on TV, and he said something which made me think he was a Christian, so I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on.
You said you had a really interesting topic.
Yeah, it's really weird. So,
Great. That's perfect.
have you ever heard of the island of Sark?
The island of Sark, no.
It's a tiny island in the English Channel off the coast of Normandy in France.
Okay.
It's like part of the United Kingdom. It's not like when you step onto it, you're not stepping onto the United Kingdom. You're stepping onto a crown dependency of the United Kingdom, which basically means it belongs to the United Kingdom.
Gotcha. I mean, doesn't the U.S. have similar things to that?
Yeah, like Puerto Rico or Guam.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really small. North Manitou Island, which I visited in 2017 in Lake Michigan, is 5 times larger.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's only about 2 square miles, this Isle of Sark.
Oh, okay.
But here's the thing. It was established as a crown dependency in the late 1500s, and they didn't really change the laws after that. So until about 10 years ago, it wasn't democratic. It was still a feudalistic society. And
so explain what that means.
feudalism is where a king rules over lords, and lords rule over parcels of land, and they have peasants who take care of the land for them.
Okay.
And so Sark was it had these parcels of land which people worked, and they didn't vote or anything until 10 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And it's one of the only places in the world where cars are still banned, and people get around on bicycles, tractors, and horse-drawn carriages.
I mean, if it's only 2 square miles, then that can't be that big a problem.
I mean, there's not much, there aren't really any places to go.
Yeah.
And it's a place called a dark sky community, which basically means that there's so few light pollution that you can look at the sky and view at, because they have no streetlights there.
Yeah.
And the fact there aren't any cars helps. There's not going to be a conclusion or a point to this. I'm just going to share weird about this area.
Well, you brought up the dark sky thing. I think we might have a place like that in Michigan somewhere.
Really?
I think so.
Usually in other places, it's uninhabited areas.
Yeah.
But this area is really rare in that it's inhabited.
Oh, good point.
So they have this weird law. So this is an old law from the area that they still haven't repealed or anything. It's French. It's from Norman French. It's called Clément de Arreau. Here's what Wikipedia says. Basically, if you feel that someone's infringing on your rights, you can do this to get them to stop. So at at the scene, you have to, in front of witnesses, recite the Lord's Prayer in French and cry out, "Aro, aro, aro, on my factor," which translates, "Aro, aro, aro, to my aid, my prince, I am being wronged." And then the office within 24 hours. So then all actions against you that you've considered to be offensive have to then cease until the matter is heard by the court. And so the last time this happened was in 1970 when a guy wanted to prevent the construction of a garden wall.
Nice.
There's another little isle, really like even smaller than Sark, just off the coast. It's immediately next to Sark, and it's owned by the Barclays brothers, and these guys own. I think they own a newspaper, and they're quite wealthy. They own the Daily Telegraph, which is a pretty popular newspaper in the UK.
Okay.
It's a private island. They have their own castle, and they've been like heavily meddling in the Sark, the newly founded Sark democracy. They're like paying people to try to run for the office there. There's a newspaper in Sark which was run by one guy who was paid by them to basically just insult the local Sark government.
Okay.
He compared the government to fascist Germany in the 1930s.
Wow.
In 2014, over 50 residents of Sark filed complaints with the police about accusations made by the paper. So they had enough, I guess. So since they don't have cars there, the ambulances are tractor trailers. They're specifically made tractor trailers with a little medical facility for I think there's like one doctor on the island.
Oh, wow.
And it's also made so that the injured person or ill person can be brought onto a boat and brought to the nearby island of Guernsey, which is more populated.
Yeah, okay. So wait, is the trailer... Oh, tractor... Okay, so that doesn't count as a car. Tractor.
It doesn't use a motor, it's just getting pulled.
But a tractor... Didn't you say they had tractors?
Yes.
And that doesn't count as a car.
No, those are legal. Part of the problem with the fact that they have democracy now is that, like, most of the positions that you can run for, nobody runs for them.
Wow.
They just have all these positions, and nobody's filling them. Yeah. Religion, they are Anglican, and there's also a Methodist church there, as well as an Anglican church. There's really not much else to say, except for my favorite little story. This is the Sark invasion. In August 1990, an unemployed French nuclear physicist named André Gardes, armed with a semi-automatic weapon, attempted an invasion of Sark. The night Gardes arrived, he put up 2 posters declaring his intention to take over the island the following day at noon. The following day, he started a solo foot patrol in front of the manor in battle dress with weapon in hand. While he was sitting on a bench waiting for noon to arrive, the island's volunteer constable, police constable, approached the Frenchman and complimented him on the quality of his weapon. Guards then proceeded to change the gun's magazine, at which point he was tackled to the ground, arrested, and given a 7-day sentence, which he served in Guernsey. Guards attempted a comeback the following year, but was intercepted in Guernsey. And whenever there are battles listed on Wikipedia, they have like a little table showing like the belligerents and the strength, the casualties and losses. So it's got belligerents, Sark volunteer, constable forces, and Guards, strength, 1 constable versus 1 man. Losses, none, and 1 captured. So I just love these stories when like crazy people try to conquer tiny territories.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about the story of Beaver Island?
No.
Do you know where Beaver Island is?
Is it in Michigan?
Yeah, it's in Lake Michigan. Um,
Okay.
and it's kind of a large island, um, relatively speaking, like compared to Sark.
Hmm.
And this guy went. I think he was a Mormon, and he went there and he declared himself king of Beaver Island, and, and he people were already living there.
Oh,
He just declared himself king. So,
wow.
so the army came and arrested him.
Wow. That's so crazy.
I know. I love these stories of just like really dumb people trying to become sovereign rulers of.
Yeah.
There's another island off the coast of England called Sealand, where this guy has declared himself king of Sealand, and he's the only person who lives there. And it's not an island; it's like a naval platform built in World War II that was evacuated.
Okay.
And through a massive loophole, he is technically the ruler of an independent nation.
Wow.
So he can't leave though, or else he'll get arrested like the second he sets foot on land.
Oh, I see. It's all a part of his plan. See, he's gonna start with Sea Land, and then he's gonna work his way up to Sea World.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you ever
It's a
get
matter of time.
read about all these weird tiny places.
Yeah.
I was reading
It's like-
about this, and I was like, I have got to go there, and I've got to. They have their own currency, Hayden.
Really? That's awesome.
Oh no, it's not their own currency. It's Guernsey's currency.
Oh, okay.
It's its own currency. Anyway.
So you mentioned strange laws and stuff, and I looked up strange laws in Michigan, and I found a few. So I want to share some strange and dumb laws that are still laws on the books in Michigan.
I think it's illegal to have like oral sex or something.
Really? That may be on here. I haven't seen it
And
though.
I think it's also illegal to go whaling here,
That's awesome.
which is, it's not that big of a problem. Thank you.
Yeah. So, number one, persons may not be drunk on trains.
Okay.
So that's a bummer. It is illegal to kill a dog using a decompression chamber.
Whoa.
That escalated quickly.
People own decompression chambers.
I don't know. Oh, adultery is illegal but can only be punished upon complaint by the affected husband or wife.
Fascinating.
No man may seduce and corrupt an unmarried girl, or else he risks 5 years in prison. What in the world?
How do they define the seduce or corrupt?
I don't know.
Must be old laws that still, yeah.
Right, that they just haven't bothered to take off yet. The last Sunday in June of every year is named Log Cabin Day.
Really?
Yeah,
Just
officially. In Michigan, apparently. So every last Sunday in June is Log Cabin Day. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do on that day, but... Well, apparently cars cannot be sold on Sunday.
Yeah, that's right. I think I knew that.
Really?
Yeah. So it's very sort of a Protestant kind of thing, right?
I guess so. Well, I mean, if it's because of like the Sabbath day,
Yeah.
then I can imagine that being made a law. A woman isn't allowed to cut her own hair without her husband's permission. Wow. What if she's not married? Then
Yeah.
does it have to be her father's permission or something?
I think that maybe they should repeal that one.
Some of these actually have been repealed. There is a 3-cent bounty for each starling and 10-cent bounty for each crow killed in any village, township, or city in the state. This was repealed in 2006.
Oh, well, I'm glad they took care of that. Yeah, I
A
remember.
3-cent bounty. So wait, what does that mean? Does that mean that if you kill a starling,
Yeah, yeah.
does that mean that there's a bounty on the starling or on you for killing it?
You get it for killing the town.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was this because there was like like too many?
Yeah, it might have been. They were killing crops or something. I feel like, yeah, I remember that there were too many people killing starlings in the early 2000s.
Oh.
No, I'm making this up.
Oh.
I mean, I'm a very progressive person, Hayden. I believe that women should be able to get haircuts without their husband's permission.
Yeah, but should they be allowed to cut their own hair?
Now, I think that's just going too far.
I honestly, I don't know that unless you're going to shave it, I don't know that anybody should be cutting their own hair unless they have practiced and have gotten really good at it.
I think I see what you're getting at.
I tried to cut my own hair once.
Really?
Yep. Day before class in freshman year of high school. I had to wear a bandana so no one could see it.
Were you like 14?
I would have been 14. No, I would have been. Yeah, I probably would have been 14.
Do you remember what you were thinking, like why you did that?
No, I think maybe it was just in my eyes. And I was like, this is annoying. So I wanted to get my hair out of my eyes.
All right, keep them coming. Is that all the laws?
No, there's more. It is illegal for a robber to file a lawsuit if he or she got hurt in your house.
Wait, again?
Why would you do that?
Wait, what was this? Say it again?
So if you're robbing someone's house and you get hurt, it is legal. It is legal for you to file a lawsuit. What? So if you're robbing someone's house and you get hurt, like if you stub your toe or like if you get hurt substantially, you can sue the person whose house you were robbing.
Wow.
What? That's insane. Oh, and up until 2002, you were not allowed to swear in front of women and children. That changed, apparently. Now you can swear all you want.
Infringing on my rights. Are there any more?
Any person over the age of 12 may have a license for a handgun as long as he or she has not been convicted of a felony. Over the age of 12. Okay, interesting. Okay, the next few are city laws. So these are only specific to certain cities.
Okay.
In Clawson, Michigan, there is a law that makes it legal for a... Oh, I don't know if I want to read this. Maybe the way it's worded is just awkward, but okay. There is a law that makes it legal for a farmer to sleep with his pigs, cows, horses, goats, and chickens. I hope that just means sleep, as in literally just sleep, and not the way I took it initially.
I know that animal husbandry, in the most literal sense of husbandry, is legal in most U.S. states, I'm pretty sure.
Legal or illegal?
Legal.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
I mean bestiality.
Oh my gosh, it's legal?
Yeah, I'm not, well, okay, I don't mean bestiality specifically, but it's legal to marry your animals.
To marry your animals?
Yes.
What in the world? God bless America.
God bless.
In Detroit. So these are Detroit laws. So you live near Detroit.
These might apply to me.
Okay. I don't understand this at all.
Please share.
Okay, I'm gonna share it exactly how it's written.
Okay.
And what in the world? I don't know. Okay, so here's how it's written. Apparently, the good folks in Detroit did not quite know what a knew a meant. Quite frankly, I don't know what that means either.
Can you send me the link, maybe, because you're reading it on your phone? Certain things don't appear.
I'm not reading it on my phone.
Oh.
I'll send you the... This is under Detroit, and I'm assuming it's just, like, bad HTML or something, like bad coding. Well, it says full text of the law. Let me click on that and see where that takes. Articles of bedding sold as new to be of all new material and labeled. No person shall sell as new any article of bedding or filling material unless it is made from all new material and label, meeting all specifications of Division 2 of this article, is securely attached to the outside covering.
So basically, I can't sell bedding used and pretend it's new.
So the A question mark must have just been quotation marks.
Oh, why would they? That makes.
So the good folks in Detroit did not quite know what new meant. Is what that was saying. Huh.
Hut golf courses must close by 1 a.m.
We're going to take turns now. Security guards at Joe Louis Arena will confiscate any item they feel might be thrown onto the ice. Oh boy. Couldn't you potentially throw any item onto the ice?
The next one.
Go for it.
Couples are banned from making love in an automobile unless the act takes place while the vehicle is parked on the couple's own property.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, okay. Jeez. Willfully destroying your old radio is prohibited. Aw. You can't destroy your own radio?
It is illegal for a man to scowl at his wife on Sunday.
Oh my gosh. How do they...
Oh no, my parents are divorced. I can't do that.
It is illegal to let your pig run free in Detroit unless it has a ring in its nose. Wow.
Do you think you could use that on a cop if you're like pigs running around loose? And they're like, bro, you need to put your pig on a leash. And you'd be like, actually, my good sir. Oh man. This is very useful stuff to know.
Yeah. More dumb laws in Michigan. Oh, it's continued. Okay.
Would you, Oh yeah.
Am I next?
Kalamazoo!
I saw that one.
It is against the law to serenade your girlfriend. I think you've broken the law here, Hayden.
I don't think I've ever serenaded any of my girlfriends.
Really?
What is serenade? Doesn't that mean sing?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever sung to... Well, I don't know. Have I?
I think you've like sent Snapchats of you singing when you're dating Gracie.
Oh, no. But does it count unless it's like face to face?
I think we need a lawyer for this. I like some of these other ones. And in Harper Woods, it's illegal to paint sparrows and sell them as parakeets. Esther, all bathing suits must have been inspected by the head of police.
Oh, wow.
That used to be a law in other places, too. Like a certain length to be acceptable to be worn in public or something.
Wow, interesting.
In Sioux, smoking while in bed is illegal.
Dang, how do they catch you?
They have police for
like
that.
Peeking in the windows? Hey!
And in Wayland, anyone can keep their cow on Main Street downtown at the cost of 3 cents per day. This was a law made because of like one guy.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you could keep your cow here, but you need to pay 3 cents.
Would you like to hear the story of the Mormon Kingdom on Beaver Island?
Sure.
Okay.
So is this is another person who declared themselves king?
Oh, this is the one I was referring to earlier.
Oh, you just hadn't finished the story?
Yeah, because it's actually kind of detailed and very bizarre.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Although Beaver Island is known mostly today for its beaches, forests, recreational harbor, and seclusion, at one time it was the site of a unique Mormon kingdom. The island's association with Mormonism began with the death of Joseph Smith, founder of the Latter-day Saint movement. Most Latter-day Saints considered Brigham Young to be Smith's successor, but many others followed James J. Strang. What a great name.
James J. Strang.
Without the, he founded the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints,
Okay.
known as Strangites, claiming it to be the sole legitimate continuation of the church restored by Joseph Smith. It still exists today, numbering up to 300 adherents. And the group initially settled in Wisconsin. So, seeking to get away from persecution, Strang moved his followers from Wisconsin to Beaver Island in 1848. And they flourished under his leadership and became a political power in the region. So they named they founded the town of St. James, named after Strang. So I think they made him a saint.
Perfect.
And they built a road called King's Highway, which actually remains one of the main thoroughfares of the island.
Nice. There's a King's Highway in Kalamazoo, too.
Oh, interesting. Maybe it's named after James J. Strang.
Doubt it.
So
maybe somebody else tried to, claim themselves as King of Kalamazoo.
King of Kalamazoo. That's got a good ring to it.
King of Kalamazoo.
Yeah. So they cleared land, built cabins, farms, etc. And they basically tried to make themselves permanent there. So in 1853 and 1855, Strang was actually elected to the Michigan House of Representatives.
Oh, wow.
He made Beaver Island the center of Manitou County, which is just a county made up of the Lake Michigan Islands up there.
Okay.
Back then, North Manitou was populated, actually, I think. Oh, wait, no, it was populated until the 1900s. Anyway, It's no longer a county.
Oh, really?
Once they arrived at Beaver Island, even though he had previously opposed polygamy, he became a polygamist. Got 5 wives and fathered 14 children. In 1850, he proclaimed himself king, but not of the island itself. He claimed to be king over his church, which at the time contained most of the island's inhabitants. He was crowned on July 8th of that year, and the ceremony featured a crown, a red royal robe, a shield, a breastplate, and a wooden scepter.
How does that make any sense, though? Doesn't a king have to have, land?
Yeah.
What if the church moved to somewhere else? No, that doesn't make sense. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of crazy.
I guess so, yeah.
So they often clashed with their non-Strangite neighbors on Beaver Island. And he claimed to be king only over his own adherents, but he also tried to exert authority over non-Strangites. And he was regularly accused of forcibly seizing their property and of physically assaulting them.
Oh my gosh.
Hostility frequently resulted in violence. Strangites were beaten by ruffians at the post office, while Strang once fired a cannon at a group of unruly fishermen who had threatened to drive his people from the island. Wow. Strangites held an increasing monopoly on local government, blurring the distinction between church and state. He had a lot of progressive ideas, such as the conservation of woodlands, but his autocratic style of rule became intolerable for many. He dictated the type of clothing Strangite women must wear, and then in parentheses it puts "sea bloomers."
Bloomers. Bloomers.
Big puffy dress, sort of.
Oh. This is all underwear.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just like
It makes
old person underwear.
it's kind of nice looking, it's quaint, but it's made to be unsexy.
I guess so.
Two women refused, and Strang had their husbands flogged.
Oh wow.
A task made easier after one of them was caught in the act of adultery with the wife of his business partner. So after recovering from their injuries, the husbands began plotting against Strang. On June 16th, 1856, the U.S. naval gunboat USS Michigan entered the harbor at St. James and invited Strang aboard. Okay, now listen to this.
Okay.
Strang walked down the dock. The two men shot him from behind and then ran the ship. The boat departed and disembarked the men at Mackinac Island without arresting them. Neither was convicted for the crime.
Okay. So wait, did he die?
Yeah, he died a month later.
Oh.
And when he did, mobs came from Mackinac Island and nearby St. Helena Island and drove the Strangites, approximately 2,600 people, off Beaver Island, confiscating their property. With the Strangites' departure, the local government in Manitou County, including Beaver Island, all but ceased. Elections were rarely held. County offices were usually unfilled, and the area acquired a lawless reputation affirmed by Michigan Governor John G. Bagley. That is another great name. 1877, when he called for the county's abolition. A bill was introduced but failed to pass. A new attempt in 1895 was successful, and the Beaver Islands became part of Charlevoix County, while Fox and Manitou Islands became part of Leelanau County. And that's the story of the Mormon Kingdom on Beaver Island.
Man, that was a trip.
Do you want to go to Beaver Island and declare a kingdom?
Would we start our own religion, or would we bring a particular religion with us?
We make the Protestant Catholic Church of Mackinac Island.
I feel like there are already people doing that.
A Protestant Catholic Church.
Basically.
You gotta listen to all of these the names of all the islands in this area. They're all so silly.
Really?
Beaver Island, Garden Island, High Island, South Fox Island, Hog Island, North Fox Island, Gull Island, Whiskey Island, Squaw Island, Trout Island, Grape Island, Hat Island, Shoe Island. I'm going to read about every single one of these islands.
Wait. In this podcast?
Oh no.
Maybe we can devote one to each. I want to live on Whiskey Island.
In my free time.
Oh, gotcha.
There's not an article about Grape Island though.
Grape Island?
I'm gonna look it up and then I'm gonna make my own Wikipedia article.
Just be like, the settlers found some tasty grapes, named the island after it.
There were a bunch
that was
of
it.
islands, apparently. My friend and his dad and another one of their friends. My friend's dad and his friend, they went camping on an island, and the island was 20 feet across.
Really? What?
Yeah, it was just big enough for their two tents.
Did the island have a name?
I don't know. I need to ask my friend about this.
Oh my gosh.
What were you?
Was it in the middle of a river or something, or was it actually on the lake? Did they have to take a boat to get to it?
Yeah, I think they went on kayaks or rafts or something.
Oh my gosh. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
Man, it just makes you want to go out and build a little cabin and declare the island to be yours, doesn't it?
Yeah. I would do it. Have you seen that YouTube channel that's like a guy who basically built his own house in the middle of the woods,
Oh,
like from scratch?
oh, is that the primitive technology guy?
Um, I don't know. There was like a time lapse of a guy building a cabin.
Okay. Well, there's this other guy on YouTube who like takes
It's called My Self Reliance.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, there's a guy called his YouTube channel is called Primitive Technology. Basically, um he doesn't say anything. He just films himself building this stuff of
Okay.
like um I don't know, maybe Native American technology, or like he just takes grass and he makes like a snowshoe. Um,
Wow.
he like makes mud bricks. He like builds an oven. Uh, he's
Oh
like
my God.
real life Minecraft.
Yeah, basically. So you said you hadn't done any writing, or did you do a little bit and just didn't feel like sharing?
I think I'm very ashamed.
Okay. You haven't even done any editing of your previous? Because I know you didn't want to share last week because it was a bit,
It was so garbage.
yeah.
I'm gonna change. Thank you, Hayden. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change what I wrote, but
Okay.
for now, I'm just gonna move past it like it didn't happen.
Okay.
Which I think is
Gotcha.
the best way to handle situations in life.
So for me, I haven't done that much writing of my story this week because basically, like towards the beginning of the week, I got that sort of like conviction that I was like spending too much time in like lost in fantasy.
Mm.
I was like, I need to think about real life, and so I had this idea, and I was gonna run it by you and see what you thought. But I wonder if I should write like an autobiography or something, and just like because when I look back on my life and think about like where I've like how far I've come like from where I've been and everything, it's like I can just see like the ways that God has been working in my life and putting certain things in my life that have like had such huge results. And like do you ever do that where you like look back on your life and you're like, man, like this event seemed so insignificant at the time, but like when I look back on it, it's like had enormous consequences and stuff like that.
No,
So
because I have perfect fore and aft sight in every single moment of my life.
okay. When I look back at like, just various events of my life and stuff, I just can see ways that God has been basically orchestrating everything. And I think it'd be really cool to, write that all down and like share it and just be like, I don't know, I guess the way I think about it, like my life is something that God has given me and he hasn't given it to anyone else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like I should take it and use it to point to him.
Yeah.
So
Great way of looking at it. I wouldn't recommend an autobiography, but I think a testimony would be a good idea.
okay. How would you differentiate between the two?
The testimony would, well, an autobiography is your whole life,
Okay.
so you write about everything.
Yeah.
I think, how old are you again? You're 24?
Yes.
I think writing an autobiography at the age of 24 might be a bit pretentious, to be honest.
What do you mean pretentious?
Um,
Now, so when I say autobiography, like most people will write an autobiography about like their achievements and stuff. I don't mean it anything like that. I mean it would be more of not because most of my life I haven't really done anything. Like most of what has happened in my life, it's all been just God working because I'm not a very I don't take initiative. So most of the things that have happened in my life, I had hardly any part. I had played hardly any part in them. Sorry, that sentence didn't. Maybe I shouldn't write.
Okay, well, that sounds like a testimony anyway.
Yeah, it would basically be a testimony, but it would be like, rather than, like a testimony of my life on a grand scale, it would be like, here's how God worked in this portion of my life, and here's how he worked in this portion of my life and everything. Or, since I did tell Jonathan that I was going to try and write some blog posts for the church website, maybe I should devote the story section to writing blog posts. And each week I can share with you the progress I've made on my blog posts.
What's going to happen to your story?
I don't know. I've kind of lost interest in it this week.
It's going to happen.
I don't know. Who knows? I might return to it at some point.
I mean, it is literally a job for a lot of people, writing.
I know. But so are lots of things. And it doesn't have to be my job.
Hey.
I just feel like it would be more beneficial to this time in my life to, focus on the blog posts that I told Jonathan I would write.
Well, I don't know, Hayden.
You what?
I don't know, Hayden. Sometimes God, sometimes we look at things in life and we think, wow, that's really small. But later on, we realized, whoa, that was really big.
Okay.
That sounds familiar.
I'm not sure if that's quite the same thing. But, yeah. I mean, maybe this blog post is something small that eventually is gonna... I mean, like, who knows? Like, people are gonna read these, and they might be really encouraged by them. And they'll, like... Because I'm gonna write about prayer. That's something that... What?
I'm not saying you shouldn't do blog posts, but I'm saying you shouldn't.
Oh, okay.
Just because you don't feel like it.
Why?
Then what was the point of doing it in the first place?
I don't know. It's fun to, like, I don't know. See, this is the problem with me writing stories, is like I never see the point in doing it. And so I just kind of have to like ignore that and just do it anyways. But then eventually I come to the sense where I'm like, why am I doing this? And then I can't come up with any good reason, and it's hard to like stay motivated. But with, something like blog posts, I can see a reason for doing it. Like I can see that like it would actually, it applies to real life, and it applies to real people in a real situation. Whereas my story is just like a fantasy land inside my head that doesn't really, it might be entertaining, but what is entertainment worth? Like other people can make much more entertaining things.
Well, that's some quality quitter talk right there, but okay. All right. For listening.
Thanks for listening, and please like and subscribe if you want to hear more. Comment with any questions and ideas you might have for this podcast, and share this with your friends so we can get more listeners. Bye-bye.